what we're actually installing. We got some TURBOSMART. We got some blow-off valves, compact dual port, Borg Warner. 2 of them, obviously, since the ECOBOOST is a twin turbo engine. I've already opened this one up, so I can go ahead and show you what they look like. And I've never done, you know, any turbo stuff before, so this is kind of my first outing with it. But yeah, nice little unit. TURBOSMART compact dual port setup, and I guess you can adjust it softer and harder. You just got to twist this housing, but from what I've heard, TURBOSMART has it pretty good just from how they ship it out. It's set up well. And then if you want to do like custom tunes or support other mods, you can dial in how much softer or harder you want it. But we're gonna leave it. The only thing right off the bat we'll have to do is this fitting right here. It comes with it, but for the ECOBOOST, at least for the first gen, they use like a side fitting, if you can see it right there, instead of the straight up. So we'll just have to take this off, put this on, and then the install seems pretty straightforward. It's just three little Allen bolts that go in, and we'll just have to take the wheel off and take the inner liner off, which the fender liner is kind of a pain in the ass. I've already done the passenger side before, so we're gonna start on that side. But once you get that off, it's supposed to be pretty good access. It's just pretty much staring at you. And then the old one, same thing. Just take 3 bolts out, put this one in, 3 bolts, connect the vacuum line, and then that should be it in theory. But you know, we know how straightforward installs go. So I'll go ahead and get this pulled off, move the truck around, and then you know, just get going with it. This little fitting is just a 13 mil. It's already loose, so just go ahead and pull this off. Just a little guy right there. And then we'll go ahead and put this new one in. Super easy. And then this can clock however you need to now. And then we'll go ahead and just tighten this top nut down. All right, well, got the truck moved around, and got the front lifted up just enough to get the tire off the ground. And as you can see, we got a bunch of shit down here just in case. Most of the weight's on that jack, but got a backup jack, and then both the lifts are just touching it just to give it contact, because to be honest, I kind of hate jacking the truck up without the lift. I mean, I know my like jacks are rated for the weight, but it's still just kind of sketchy. So, but it is what it is. Start taking all these off and get that wheel off. Then we'll have access to the blow-off valve. I can see it right there, but just taking the wheel off will give us some more, a little bit more clearance, make it a little bit easier. So take this heavy bitch off. Okay, so what we're looking at is, hopefully you can see that. That's our blow-off valve right there. From what I've seen, you just take this vacuum hose off, and then it's 3 bolts right there, and then behind this little piece, and then this whole thing will come off, put the new one in, same thing, vacuum hose on, and then that's it, man. So seems pretty straightforward. Try and wiggle this wiggle this vacuum line off first. Well, after just trying to wiggle it free for a while with your hand at the top sitting there wiggling it, I think the best way to do it is to get like a little tiny little flathead or something that you can get and just kind of put it under the lip where that vacuum hose meets up with the bottom of that face, and then as you're pulling up, use the flathead to kind of push from the bottom, and that seems to, I think we're about off. There we go. See, that seems to give the best results for getting that little hose off. But now that that's all good, we can go ahead and start taking off these little crusty bolts here, and then we'll be able to pull that one out. These bolts are pretty easy to break. Didn't seem like they were in there too terribly tight, so that's nice for us. Looks like there was some Loctite on there, so we'll probably go ahead and throw some on ours as well, or on the new bolts rather. The last one's out as well. So it looks like that just kind of fell apart in there, but that's fine. But as you can see, like, this whole piece is plastic.
I'm glad to hear that.
Shut up, Siri. One of the reasons why you would replace it is because these pieces are plastic, right? I mean, it's good for a stock application, but obviously a little bit more durable is a metal body. They can hold more PSI. So if you're looking for like a performance increase as far as tuning and stuff like that, that would be the reason why you would go with an aftermarket like the TURBOSMARTs, because I believe these ones can hold up to 30 PSI. So that's obviously, you know, more PSI, more power, if you're going down that route. So that would be one of the reasons. But yeah, you got that off. Obviously that's where this piece is gonna go now. And then we'll go ahead and get our Loctite and then throw this new one on, and it should be, you know, that should be it for the install. So I just had to look up the TURBOSMART install instructions. Pretty much the only thing of importance is that you see how it's all kind of round on each side, and then there's a little flat spot right here. They just tell you to point that flat spot towards the intake of the turbo itself. So, because these are all equally spread, the bolts, so you technically could like flip it around, you know, but that's the correct orientation. So flat side of the housing towards the intake of the turbo, and then we're just running our bolts in now. And then once we're done with getting our bolts in, all we gotta do is connect this hose again and then move all these cables back where they're supposed to go, and you know, that's that. So pretty straightforward so far. The other side's gonna be a little bit more of a pain in the ass, because this side, obviously, right, I already had pulled the fender lining, so you know, that is what it is. But I'll have to do that on the other side, and then the install itself will be pretty straightforward again. So not bad at all, really. Just got these bolts, 3 bolts all snugged up. You'll feel it when they get tight, because they'll kind of be running, and then you'll get to a certain point and it'll get real tight, and then you'll be good to go there. But yeah, that's it, man. You just gotta pop this thing back over, and it felt like it was in a little groove before. We'll have to see if I can pop it back in there, but yeah, other than that, I think that's it. Yeah, it just kind of clips in right there, but swivel that, take the swivel fitting up, and then we'll push this vacuum hose onto it. And tightened up. We got this all vacuum line pushed back down now. Pretty much now the only thing we're gonna do is, at least for this side, we're gonna start the truck, make sure there's no leaks from it, and then put the wheel back on, and then we'll move on to the next side. Just come over, make sure there's no leaks, air leaks or anything. I don't feel any, so I think we're good. Well, we got no leaks there. This side's good to go. So go ahead and clean all this shit up, put the wheel back on, and then get started on the other side. So as you can see, we got the wheel off. This is the inner fender liner right here. It's got a bunch of these little pieces where like connectors and shit are just attached to for routing purposes and stuff like that. And then it's got these little ones right here that kind of run along the top and hold it in. Once we pull those off, it'll be able to come down, and then we'll just have to push these, the ones that hold the connectors back through. To be honest, I think you could probably get to it without pulling it. It would just be kind of a pain in the ass, because it might be hard to see, but it's basically sitting back right in there. I think you can see it. Yeah, it's just sitting right there with that hose going to it. So you could probably get to it. I don't know if I'm gonna try and get it right now without pulling this whole liner off, or just bite the bullet and pull the liner. I haven't really decided yet, but either way, we'll be able to get to that blow-off valve. So I decided to pull the liner off. As you can see, it just obviously gives you a lot more room, and then now we can get straight into pulling the valve off. But yeah, I mean, just be careful when you pull it off. Honestly, like, taking the fender liner off is probably about the same amount of time that it would take to do the valve, to do the actual job. So it's just kind of annoying. But on the back side, it's going to have these connectors that are hanging and stuff like that. With these clips, and those will clip into the backside. So when you're pulling the liner down, just, you know, be conscious of it so that you don't just say fuck it and just and pull all of it down, and then, you know, you don't want to damage any of these connectors or anything like that. So but yeah, so got this out. We'll go ahead and move this out the way and then get started on our actual job. Alright, well, we got everything all wrapped up in here. Let's see, we got bolts in, this is all good, and then we're not going to go ahead and put the fender liner back in. So all these electrical connectors, just tried to seal them up a little bit with some electrical tape, and then zip tie. Should I put it back in? Probably, but I don't want to deal with that again. Plus some of the next few things on the list are going to be intake and exhaust, and the intake I want to go with replaces these stock the stock intake pipes to the turbo, so I'm gonna have to get back in here anyways. But yeah, we're gonna put the wheel back on, torque it and everything, then go for a drive and listen to it. I turned it on, make sure we had no leaks from the blow-off valve, and that was all good. And then I ended up setting them both to hard as they can. So it's pretty cool how it works. It's just, you just twist the body of it, and then it adjusts how much I guess the dump is. So I turned them both to hard, the hardest they would go, and we're gonna set them there for now. I think it's gonna sound probably a little bit different once there's load on the engine, but we'll see. It's not super loud, but again, we'll see what it sounds like on the road. So let's go ahead and get this wrapped up and then take it for a drive. So we went by the vet's office and picked up some of the medicine, the monthly medicine for the old doggo, but and it just kind of gave me an excuse to go for a drive. But anyways, we're back at like the little curvy road area where I normally take the cars to. So it's kind of funny bringing the truck there, because, you know, obviously truck and curvy roads don't necessarily mix, but it's a little bit more of like the quieter section of road kind of, so it might be a little bit easier to hear. And of course today it's windy. It's pretty fucking windy outside, so that's gonna make it even harder to hear, but hopefully it's not too bad. I'll throw it in manual mode real quick and roll the windows down, and then see if y'all can hear the difference. So we're in second, so you should definitely be able to hear that. So there is definitely a difference from stock, because you know, stock you can't hear anything off the turbos. No matter if you're in boost, let off, whatever, you really can't hear shit. So definitely kind of a big upgrade. I mean, I have them on the hardest setting right now, so they're gonna make as much noise as they can, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely a good first step. Doing these really makes me want to get the intake and exhaust done, because I know once I do those, it's gonna sound so good. And yeah, it's just, it really like the blow-off valves weren't in the recipe for the truck at all, by any means, but they were a surprise, obviously, gift from my dad and then my father-in-law. So thank you guys for sending these out. Really appreciate it, obviously. And you know, I can't say no to free parts, so you know. But no, they're really nice. I like them. The install is super easy, so nothing to be intimidated about. Definitely, like, probably the hardest part. Let's see if we can hear them right now. Yeah, you should be able to hear that. And then back up into it. For sure sounds good. And it opens up the turbos a little bit more too, I think, just as you're going through building boost. But obviously once you let off, it has that nice blow off valve goodness. But no, I mean, definitely a cool piece. And yeah, like I was saying, don't be nervous about the install. It's super easy. You gotta take the wheel off, and probably taking the fender liner off is harder than installing the actual blow off valve. So yeah, for what you get, it's pretty damn easy, straightforward install. But yeah, like I said, probably gonna do the intake next, I want to say, and save the exhaust for last. But to go along with that, you know, I picked up the 22-inch wheels that are on it. The tires that are on those are pretty old and getting worn down now. There's kind of some like dry rotting, not too bad, but you can kind of see some of the areas where it's starting to crack a little bit. So I know those are going to be expensive just because of the size and everything, so I'm not really looking forward to that. And that's probably going to take, you know, a chunk of time and money away from being able to put the cool stuff on the truck. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's gonna take money away from doing the cool stuff, but you know, it's the time old story of wanting to do aftermarket shit and not do your normal maintenance and whatnot. So it's necessary, but kind of a bummer, right? Because that could be a lot of money that could be used towards you know, intake, tune, exhaust, all that good stuff. But tires are more important at the end of the day, so we'll probably get those soon-ish. I mean, I'm gonna try and milk these out for quite a while, just because these 22s are gonna be expensive, man. Probably like 12 on the low end, 1200, but I'm expecting probably like 15, so we'll see there. But yeah, overall, really gets like the fire going for the truck again for me now. And I wasn't thinking about doing a tune after I threw on everything. I mean, we'll see once I get the other parts installed and whatnot, but I kind of want to do a tune now, to be honest with you. But we'll see, man, we'll see. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Kind of getting back into the flow of doing videos, trying to balance it out with everything else I'm doing in life right now. This first half of the year, I probably am not going to be uploading as much as I would like to, or as I was in the past. I was getting pretty consistent there for a while at like an upload a week, but I just don't think that's going to happen anymore. So I'll try and get what I can up, but we'll see.